Looks like we are live. I'm just going to wait for the audio to go through and we will get started right away here. Welcome back to another live stream. Today's going to be a little bit different. As you can see, this is our Node Dojo series here on CG Cookie, which basically means we're going to kind of do whatever you guys want to do. We can hop into a lot of different projects here, and I actually have a spinner that I've created to help us decide what it is that we want to do. Now we have some options here. We have physics, geometry nodes, regular shaders like material shaders, or modeling. Let me just make sure I am clear about that. Material, shader, geometry nodes. This could be like anything. It could be a generator. It could be whatever. Physics could also be really anything. It's just a matter of like kind of picking a category and expanding off of that category. So let me go ahead and make sure I have audio here. All right, we have audio. We are good to go, guys. Go ahead and drop a comment in the chat and let me know what you think so far. Again, our options are physics, modeling, material shaders, or geometry nodes. I'm going to go ahead and drop those in the chat there. Those are our options right there. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll hop right into it. I've got Blender open in the background right here, and I am ready to go. It looks like we have 4 people. I'll wait for a few more people to shuffle in here. And if we do not end up deciding on a topic together, I can go ahead and click and spin this wheel. So comment below, let me know if you want me to spin the wheel or if you have a topic already in mind. You go ahead and do this. Perfect. Okay. Yep. So guys, go ahead and let me know if you want me to spin the wheel or if you want me to do physics, modeling, material shaders, or geometry nodes. Totally up to you guys. This is your stream. You guys get to decide what we're going to build. And if no one ends up deciding anything, I'll just build something like off the cuff, kind of just for fun. Whatever we want to here. All right, no comments so far. I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel here. Here we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get. Ooh, it's got a nice little sound effect to it as well. Ah, geometry nodes, classic. All right, looks like we're going with geometry nodes, everyone. So let's go ahead, jump right into Blender. Oh my gosh, it's like applauding. That's pretty cool. This is a cool little website. So if you guys have never heard of this, it's called Wheel of Names. It lets you decide on what you're going to do. So let's go ahead, jump right into Blender, and let's go ahead and create something in geometry nodes. I'm just going to add in a cube just to kind of start us off. I'll head over to geometry nodes here. You guys should be able to see everything. Let me just do this so you can see this a little bit better. Let me move my webcam a little bit for you guys. Perfect. Okay, that looks good enough. Okay. All right, so go ahead and click on your cube. We'll do a new geometry node setup. And now it's a matter of what do we want to create with this setup. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do here. I don't particularly have any ideas in mind, but I'll just kind of show you guys a few things that I'm already familiar with, and maybe we can go through the motions here of just kind of, maybe we'll make this like a little bit of an introduction to geometry nodes, and then we'll go from there, maybe build something fun together. A lot of the time, this group input is super important, so just keep this in mind. If you want people to be able to customize your setup, you need to be able to use this group input. So just keep that in mind if you're ever building out a geometry node setup. One of the things actually that I had wanted to talk to you guys about, and this is actually pretty cool, you can make basically a shader that almost creates a wireframe, but a more customized wireframe. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do mesh to points first. All right, go ahead and pop that in here. Now we have our points, right? But I also still want the original mesh as well. So I'm going to join geometry and include my original mesh. So now we have our points and our original mesh. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring this up here. I'm going to move all this down. This mesh to points, I'm going to turn that into instance on those points. And I actually want to instance a, let's just do a sphere for right now. Keep it super simple. Go ahead and instance that, and then bring our radius down a little bit. Now here's the fun part. This is where we can actually convert our edges into curves. So we can do mesh to curve right here, right? And now what we can do is we can actually do a curve to mesh and give this a profile. So right now it's just going to kind of look like a wireframe, but if we give it a curve circle, we can do this. This is where it gets fun, in my opinion. We can now bring the radius down, right? And now we have like full customization here, right? I'll just do 0.02. There we go. So now what we have is something where if I went into edit mode and I subdivided this, right now we have something like this. This is the current setup, just so you guys can see. Nothing too crazy. But what's fun about this is that now we can instance like our own objects onto corners and things like that. And we can actually create something that looks almost like scaffolding, if you will. I'll just go back into edit mode to show you another example. If I take this face here, right, and I extrude it, notice how now we get on those new points, we get not only the spheres, but we get the pipes as well, which is really, really awesome. And again, if I subdivide this, I can then take that, right? We can kind of start to build out this like, almost like this scaffolding type of setup. And this is really, really powerful because now we can create anything we want. Like we can make this look like, have you guys ever seen those aluminum extrusions? I'll show you what I mean. Aluminum extrusion, there we go. So if you ever look on images on aluminum extrusions, you'll see something that looks kind of like, I guess kind of like these right here, right? I'm just going to say aluminum extrusion kit. Let's show you guys what I mean. There we go. So we could potentially create it. This is actually a shader that I had thought of a while back, or a geometry node setup. We could potentially create something, right, that basically builds frames like this. So you have these frames, right? Now they are connected with like joints and other L brackets, I believe. So if you look, this is a perfect example, right? We have this frame, it's connected with these brackets. We could potentially create something like this in geometry nodes. The hardest part about this is that we have to have a curve profile that kind of matches this aluminum extrusion, right? Which is like these kind of complicated looking shapes. This is probably like your most standard version right here. But again, to get that curve profile, you have to either have that curve profile or create it procedurally. And creating that procedurally may be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it may be difficult. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Let me just see something real quick. Let me add a curve. I'm going to add in a curved circle. I just want to see if we had a curved circle, if I'm able to bring that into geometry nodes. I'm not sure that I am. Oh, I can. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I'm just curious if I plug this geometry into the profile curve. Ah, it does work. It does work. I would just have to scale it manually. Okay, that's good. What this means is that now we can create our own profile. Let me just verify that this works. If I mess around with this, yep. So see how now when I mess around with this geometry, it also messes around with that curved profile. This means that now we can actually create our own custom aluminum extrusion profile. So let's go ahead and find a good image of that. Aluminum extrusion profile. Let's go ahead and find like a head-on one so we can actually just trace it, right? I'll probably just use like the mirror modifier to kind of get this perfect. I'm really looking for something like this, but like head-on. I'm looking for like, I'm not sure what to type in to find this. Let's see. I'm kind of just looking for, hold on. Let's see. Oh, here it is. This is perfect. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and save this. Wait, is there a better one? Actually, I like this one better. Let's go ahead and save this image. Let's go ahead and click save. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna actually drag this image into Blender as an image reference. So I go to add image reference, go to my downloads, scroll down, find it, perfect. I'll go ahead and press N to get my thing up here. Go ahead and rotate that. And let's go to over here. Let's go ahead and actually just add a curve on top of this and get that exact profile. Let's do that right now. So I love this because I already know I'm going to try to make this as exact as possible. It may not be perfect, but we'll see what we can do. Let's go ahead and add in a, yeah, let's add in a curved circle. I just want to see, I'm just curious if we have the mirror modifier set up, if it will work. Mirror on the X. And we'll use our mirror object as, we'll just add in, let's add an empty in. Let's go to add plane axis empty. Just bring it up. I'm going to try to match this exactly. On the Z, we'll do 3. We'll do the same here. We'll do 3 on the Z. And that should be perfect. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and target the empty. So now, if I move this, there we go. All right, so now if I move this, we can see that it's mirrored, and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and build out our profile now. All right, this might be a little bit hard to see, but I think I can turn my opacity down here. Yes, I can. Perfect. Okay, so now with our object selected, let's go ahead and tab into edit mode. Scale this down first of all. Okay. I think for this one, I'm trying to think if it would make more sense to start with a Bezier curve for this. What I'm thinking. Yeah, I think it would. Darn it, now I have to start over. Okay, it's okay. Bezier curve, perfect. All right, we'll bring it over here. Same concept. We'll just go ahead and give this a mirror modifier. On the X, we'll target our empty. I'll just start it over here, tab into edit mode. I'm going to scale that way down. Let's go ahead and bring it here, try to get this profile real nice. Perfect. All right, so we kind of have like this profile here, right? And I'm just going to kind of take this and extrude it on the Y. Scale it down a little bit, bring it up. And we're just going to kind of follow this curvature. Perfect. This is going to be the hardest part because, you know, I might just go straight down with this. I'm not going to do that little mini curve. I don't think that's necessary. Rotate that. Perfect. Ooh, this is going to be tough. Hold on. How would I do this? Subdivide. This part might be a little tough. I'm actually not sure how someone would go about doing this. Oh, there we go. That works. All right. A little tricky there, but it works. And then same here. Subdivide. Scale this really small there. And something like that. Now, if you wanted this to be perfect, maybe this wouldn't be the best way about going about it, but I'm fine. For the purposes of like this tutorial, it's all good. I just want to see, I'm just genuinely curious to see what this looks like. Now, what's great about this is when we come back, we can improve this even further. Like right now, it doesn't necessarily have to be done, right? Here we go. I'm just going to keep extruding it and kind of aligning it the best that I can. These two, subdivide this one, bring it here for a sharper edge. And then this one, extrude. We're actually almost done. I think there's only a little bit more. Look at that. Bring that here. Now, here's what's cool, right? We have our mirror modifier on, but what I'm thinking we'll do is, well, one, our empty isn't locked in, so we need our empty to be in the middle. Our empty should be right here. This should be mirrored on the empty. There we go. So now you can see that it's following perfectly. We'll go back into edit mode here. We'll go ahead and extrude this way. Extrude it on the Y. Rotate. Scale it on the Y. Perfect. This may take a second, but I promise you when it's done, it's going to look really cool. I think. Well, it's not going to be perfect, guys, by no means, but we'll see what we can do here. Ooh, is that my stomach? I already ate dinner. I don't know why I'm still hungry. Blending, I guess, makes me hungry. All right. E, rotate. I will say I used to be really good at this in Illustrator. Like if we were doing this in Illustrator, I probably would already be done. Also, the tools in Blender, a little bit different. If you guys have ever kind of messed around with this, if you've done the pen tool in Illustrator, you know what I'm talking about. This is, in my opinion, much harder. I probably just don't know the shortcuts, but I think that Illustrator is easier. And yes, I know I'm doing this very quickly. It's a little bit like half-efforted, but I think it's going to look good when it's all said and done. Okay, there we go. All right. Bring that here. Just rotate that. Where are we at? Oh, we're almost done. Oh, and also I'm gonna duplicate it on the y-axis as well. Whoa. There we go. Okay. All right, so here's what we have, right? Let's go ahead and duplicate it on the Y. And now we have our aluminum extrusion. Look at that. We have our extrusion right there. Now, again, it's not perfect. Oh, let me save it. Extrusion. This could actually end up turning into an add-on if this looks cool enough. So let's go ahead and check this out. All right, so now that we have our actual extrusion that we want to use, plug it in here. And scale it up. Why isn't it working? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I got to duplicate this. I have to actually apply this. I wonder if it's considered closed. Oh, no. I cannot apply constructive modifiers on curve. Convert curve to mesh. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, and then I have to convert it back to a curve. Ah, okay. So I convert it to a mesh, then back to a curve. I didn't know you had to do that. Hey, look, I learned something new. Very cool. Okay, now let's try this one. And, did it work? Did it work? Why is my scale so weird right now? I think it might have worked. Let me scale our sphere down a little bit. Hold on, let me do that. Let me do this because our zoom is being really wackadoodle right now. There we go. Did it work, guys? Did it work? It's hard to say if it worked. I think it did. Why does it look so weird? Am I tripping? Hold on. I'm gonna put a switch on this real quick. I'm turning off the spheres. I think, guys, that it worked. It just looks a little bit funky. And I don't know why. It looks cool. Like it looks fun. Oh, you know what I can do? I can do this. Length. Oh, I have to put this here. I can trim the curve. Hold on, factor. Ah, I forgot you can do that. Okay. I think it worked, guys. There's only one thing I want to do. It needs like some thickness to it. This looks really cool, but it does need some thickness. When I have a reference photo that has good contrast, it's the basic shape like that. It looks Inkscape to use. Ah, and then you put it into an SVG. That's smart, my friend. I am curious. This is probably not going to work. We're going to try it. This is, again, let me repeat. This is probably not going to work, but we'll try it. Let me delete that. Can I unsubdivide this? Please tell me I can. Ugh. All right, what I want to do, this might crash Blender, but I want to see if I can extrude the mesh now to give it some thickness. Oh, Lord. Let's see if that worked. Did that work? Am I a genius? Oh, what? Oh, not individual faces. Okay, that did work, though. That did work. It just doesn't look... That doesn't look good. But it did work, right? I think it did work. Why would it be looking weird like that, though? Let's see something. That kind of looks okay. Again, this whole thing is kind of wackadoodle. Oh, here we go. Wait, hold on. Maybe it just needs to be higher scale. That kind of works. All right, do you guys see how you can really do some powerful things with geometry nodes now? So here's what's cool about this. Now we have this cool setup. Let me just see something here. I really only want this to be one side, but so we have this really cool setup. By the way, you'll notice that it is not turned the way it's supposed to be turned. I think the reason for that is probably the origin, and then I have to go to object, apply, rotation. And yes, that fixed it. All right, so that's what fixed that. And then if we trim the curve a little bit more, we can kind of start and stop where it is. How cool is that? Whoa, fun. So yeah, now we have this kind of like aluminum extrusion, which is pretty cool. I do want to see what happens if I shade this smooth. Oh, actually, let's keep it shaded flat. It looks better like that. Wow, look at that. And then we can decide how much extrusion there is. Oh, that looks like semi-realistic. How cool is that? All right, I'm digging this. This looks really good, guys. So yeah, we have our aluminum extrusion. Now I'm thinking, let's take a look at what these brackets look like and see if we can't, well, add the brackets. Let's see what they look like. Aluminum extrusion brackets. Here we go. Yeah, so I feel like these are the coolest looking ones. They would probably be hard to create procedurally. Although let's really like look at them and like let's decide for ourselves. Is this hard to create procedurally? If it's not, I say we do it. The way I look at this is it's a cube that's cut in half diagonally with two booleans in it for these screw slots and then extruded to give it some thickness. Now, is it that easy? I don't know, but we can definitely try it. I'm really thinking about this. Hold on, let me brainstorm. The hardest thing to do, it will be like the placement of these themselves, because you have to kind of place them in the corners, which is easier said than done. This might be a little easier, some kind of approach like this. Ooh, that's kind of a fun little thing. That looks a little complex though. That's a fun way to do it though. I kind of like feel like this is the coolest looking one because it makes it seem so much more like structurally stable. Let's take a look, guys. All right, I say we just go for it. Let's try this one first. Let's try just like a simple L shape, see if we can get something to look nice procedurally, and if we can, maybe we'll go from there. Let me create a... I'm wondering if I should create a new geometry node setup for this, or if I should just go for it within this. This is kind of became like a complex thing. Let me delete this, delete that. Let's clean this up a little bit first, if you guys don't mind here. This is where we're converting to curves, convert, shade smooth. Did we even use the instancer? No, we didn't because we switched it off. I'm gonna go ahead and frame this. Let's go ahead and join in new frame. Join in new frame. Perfect. We'll just move this down here. We don't really need this right now. And then we got this. Perfect. So up here, this is actually going to be, what are we going to call this? Let's go ahead and call this corners, corner brackets. And then down here, we'll just go ahead and call this aluminum extrusion. All right, perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to try to create this procedurally. In order to do this, I'm just going to add a join geometry here, and we're going to go ahead and create an entirely new like your experimental frame right here. We're going to like just create it all the way up here. We're going to say join a new frame, and I'm quite literally going to just try my best to add in a cube. Just go ahead and join that in. There's our cube, and I'm going to try to create a bracket out of this. In order to procedurally create a bracket, what I will probably end up doing is adding another cube, cutting that cube in this cube in half. Although, hold on a second. If I do a cylinder, I think we can get a three-sided cylinder. Hold on. Never mind. We have our three-sided cylinder, ladies and gentlemen. The hard part is how do we get the one side like down and flush? Although, oh, we're not going for the triangle anymore. Wait a second. I'm confusing myself here. I want an L bracket. Okay, I got it. Cube. Okay, I think I got it. We have a cube, right? We take one side and extrude it. But before we do that, squish it down a little bit. Now, let's subdivide the mesh. Hold on. Subdivide the mesh. So if we go into wireframe mode, we should see that it's subdivided. It is. You can kind of see that. I'm also, just so I don't get distracted by everything else, I'm going to switch all this other stuff off. So we have our subdivided mesh, and I want to extrude. Hold on, I'm really thinking this through before I do this. I want to extrude just like two parts of it. So I think I'm going to do extrude mesh, but I only want to extrude like the bottom two parts, and I think I can do that by saying that the index of the new subdivided cube is or I think I can do Boolean math, or no, hold on, is it Boolean math? No, the index is equal to, I think I got this, hold on guys, I think I got this. It's equal to 1, or it's equal to 2. Let's see if that works. and then plug this into the selection. Ah, now we just have to figure out which integers it is. No, 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 no. Aha, that works. So that means this one must be 17. No, it must be. Now look at that. We just procedurally created an L shape. The only difference is we need to decide, let's give it one more subdivision. Hold on. We need to figure out how to make these like kind of smaller. But how cool is that? Because this is, a lot of people ask about this stuff, like procedural modeling. So we're basically saying like, so an index is so for those who don't know what an index, you guys probably do know what an index is if you're watching this, but if you don't, an index is like, is it this face? 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 Which face is it? It goes through all the faces, and we're just saying, hey, please check if it's equal to 19 or 16. If it is, it could be either one of these. If it's either one of these, extrude those two specific things. So pretty cool way to do that, I would say. Now it's just a matter of like, can I match? I guess I could just match it manually. Let's try to see what we can do. Oh, crap. I didn't mean to do that. And then can we adjust the height? Oh, we can. See, this is where it becomes a pain though, because now it's like, how do I get this kind of like looking like half nice here? So that's, I mean, that's how you would create a bracket like that. Now creating the holes within the bracket, that's a whole nother thing. Well, get it? A whole nother thing. A little bit of Blender humor for you guys. Let me think again for another moment. So there's also another way to do this. I'm actually gonna, I think I just thought of a better way to do this. I know, I just deleted all my hard work. If we take a grid, hear me out. Right, we have a grid, and then we have another grid flipped and sandwiched, and then we just extrude those. Again, hear me out. So we have two grids, right, joined together like this. We just have to transform the other one. We have to rotate it like this way, like 90. And then we have to translate it a little bit upwards, maybe like 0.5, and then backwards 0.5 on the X. And now we have our L bracket. Why didn't I think of this before, guys? Can someone slap me? Why didn't I think of this? And then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and now extrude this joined thing. And if this works, we will extrude it. Have you ever seen a happier human being in your life? And there is our procedurally made bracket. I'm going to call this, you wait for it, bracket. And then what we can do is we can feed this into our instancer, so we can get one on every corner. The hard part is how do you angle it so that it's like lining up with the things that we want it to line up with. But first, I'm not done. I need holes in this thing, so let's add some holes. To do that, I think I'm simply going to add in a cylinder. We'll do this one step at a time. I need a Boolean. I need a mesh Boolean right here after I extrude it. Actually, we could try it before. Let's try it before, and if it doesn't work, we'll just go ahead and, yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm also this is gonna be kind of weird, but I'm gonna join it first because I want to see, oopsies, I want to join it. Crap. I want to join it right here because I want to see where it is and how big the darn thing is. Awesome. Okay, so there it is right there. Perfect. So if I punch a hole right now, it'll punch right there. So let's just see what would happen if I do this. And there it is. Now we just need one more mesh Boolean, one more cylinder, but this time we need the cylinder to be flipped. So I'm just going to grab this transform geometry here, and then we'll choose manifold or just exact. That's fine. What the heck? Why? Are we getting weird stuff here? That's weird. Wait. Oh. Actually, it does make sense why we're getting this weird thing, but hold on. Let me see. Does it have to do with the amount of vertices? That's weird. We are getting some weird things going on here, guys. Give me 1 second to sort this out. Oh, I think I know what we can do. Just do a join geometry here. Does that work? We have 2 cylinders joined together, and then they punch a hole in with exact. That's fine. Okay, cool. All right, I think I got it. And then if we want to make this thinner, we go to our grid and we make the Y thinner, which is right here. Let's just make it like, I don't know, 0.65 for both. Where's our other grid? Perfect. All right, and there is our bracket procedurally created. And yeah, so now we have our bracket procedurally created. Now we can take this, right? We can go over here, get rid of this, come back here, unswitch this bad boy. And now we can say, okay, I want my brackets, which are right here, to go into my instance on points as an instance. And it's not working. Why? Oh, because I switched them off. Aha, there they are. Okay, I also want to go back and transform the geometry again. Actually, I can just scale the instance. Scale instances. There we go. All right, I want to scale the instances by like a specific value. So I'm going to go ahead and add a value node. Go ahead and pop that into scale. Scale them up, and there we go. They're all in place. Now, the only thing is they need to be oriented the correct way. That's going to be particularly challenging because I have no idea how to do that. I do know that you can rotate the instances and like align them to Euler, but I think that is deprecated, which means I guess that node doesn't really like work anymore. But let me just see something. So look, if we rotate right here, you can see that it kind of works, but let's take a look. And also this doesn't need to be here anymore. But what I do need is I need to do Euler, no, rotation to align rotation to vector. I think that's it. Then we pop this here. We need to get the geometry's vector of the cube. So we need to go here and say, I think it's, is it capture attribute? I want to say it's capture attribute, and we need to capture the normal, I believe. And then we feed it into the vector. And that is not how you do it. I really thought that's how you did it, though. I remember doing it like this before. Was it align? Align Euler to vector, possibly? Let's try this. Nope. I've done this before, too, and it worked very good. Worked very nicely. Sorry, that's not good grammar. Let's try this. Deprecated. I've done this before. Does anybody know how to do this? This worked fine when I've done it before. Of course, now it doesn't work, and that is extremely frustrating because I really want this to work for our project, because then we can make some really, really fun aluminum extrusions, right? How cool is that? I mean, this is going to look cool when it's done. Well, or at least so I thought, right? So I thought it was going to look cool. How can I... Let me see something real quick. Geometry nodes. Align instances to corners. Let's just see if we can find something together. And if we can't, that is totally okay. It's an origin and rotation of the curve. Oh, here we go. This is exactly what I'm trying to do. It's literally exactly what I'm trying to do. Oh God, there's going to be some crazy solution to this, isn't there? Capture attribute, single angle. If it's equal to, oh my God. This looks a little wild. Wow, they really went all out for this. This is crazy, some of the work people go through. I do think there's a simpler solution, though. And I honestly would rather have the simple solution. I don't feel like looking at that whole article, if I'm being quite honest with you guys. Normally, if I wasn't, I am a little bit tired. If I wasn't so tired, I might take the time to look at that. But even then, like I said, I've done this in a simpler manner before. So I would like to find a simpler solution to this. I guess one thing I could do, I could do this the way that I did it before. So Oh my god, this is so funny. This is like kind of what I'm looking for. I did this whole thing with the architect shader, the architectural shader. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Edges of vertex. Okay, hold on. Ah, okay. That's kind of cool. That's kind of like what I'm looking for. Where's the full screen of this thing, guys? Calculate weights. Look at it. There it is right there. Align Euler to vector. What the heck? They're using it just fine here. Oh, they're taking the position. I wonder if I need to take the position and not the normal. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, that was what it was. Except now they're just kind of pointed out. But that's at least a good start. So now I'm thinking like I could, so that's actually really good that that is even doing anything at all, because that tells me that at least it's trying to calculate something. I know that didn't sound very helpful, did it? But now I'm thinking, what if we take this and we just like, I don't know, transform this. No. Transform this geometry. Oh my God. I'll just use this one. All right, we transform this geometry. What if we just rotate it until it looks right? We might be able to get something here. Just curious. Oh, here we go. Why does that one look right, but the other ones don't? Or hear me out. This is going to look absolutely atrocious. Let me just see. What in the world? I have no idea how it's calculating these. I guess based on the position of the point itself. Is this like anywhere near where it should be? Probably not. Oh, I need to readjust these. There we go. That helps a little bit. All right, actually, all right, let's see. Just curious. I'm going to reset them again. And it's perfect. And I present to you my aluminum extrusion. Oh, someone commented. I'm sorry, I didn't see your comment. Moving your bracket with the transform geometry node so it has an object origin on the outside corner might help ease the position down the line. Yes. Oh, you're saying like are you saying what I'm doing right now, or are you saying like make it a completely separate object so that it has a separate origin itself? Because that also might make sense. And hey, how's it going, Henry? Good to see you. And also hey to Not Sure 1969 and Digital Slice. I can't really read what your name is, but welcome everyone to the stream. If I haven't welcomed you already. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, this is like completely janky. I mean, it looks cool, kind of, but like this is not like, no, this is not what I want. Let me just see something here. Interesting. I'm not sure. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool looking. Not what I want like at all, but it's pretty cool looking. This is neat. I am having fun creating this though. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, all right. We might have to pivot to something else. All right, let's go back to the wheel. Since you're playing around with geometry nodes right now, could you maybe demonstrate the new closures are any different from regular node groups? Because I have no clue. Normally I would, Henry, but the only problem is I'm actually not in the beta version of 5.0. Or is it 5.0? Which one are we on right now? Whatever the newest version of Blender is, I don't have it right now. We're in, what are we in? 4.5.2. So I apologize, but I am not in the newest version of Blender. Thanks for your understanding. I apologize for any inconvenience on that. But what we will do is we will go back to the wheel, which is right here. So At this point, guys, we're going to take a quick pause, and I'm going to ask you guys, what would you like to see? Anybody in the chat who's been active, I ask you kindly to make your suggestions, and if you don't, that's okay. I will spin the wheel. Our options are physics, modeling, material shaders, and geometry nodes. I'm thinking we just kind of pivot, make a new project here. As much as I'm having fun with this one, I'm kind of ready to move on to the next one. Positioning each bracket specific to its corner would probably involve finding the normal of individual edge corners. Yes, it definitely would. It would also probably, so the other part of that is not only do you need to find that, but you need to find, where's my annotation tool? You need to find, I wouldn't just want one right here. I would want one right here, right? A bracket right here. I would want a bracket right here. Oops, why did it do that? Why is it not letting me type? What the heck? All right, for some reason it won't let me draw anymore, but I would need one on each side. That was weird. Did you guys see that? It kind of like just disappeared. Don't sweat it. Yeah, no, I know. But like I said, that is something that I have looked at, and I did see the new update, and it is pretty cool. But what I want to do now, guys, is I would like to decide what we're going to do next. All right, so we have one vote for material shader. Any other votes before I decide what we're going to do? We can absolutely make a material shader. I haven't made one in a while, but we'll hop back into it. All right, I'm not seeing any other comments. Material shader might take the win here. Let's save this. Let's open up a brand new file. All right, let's delete everything. Let's add in I don't know, cube for now. We'll add in a cube, and yeah, we'll make a shader. So what kind of material were you thinking of, Zali? Did you have anything in mind, or did you just want to learn more about material shading? Anything specific that you can think of? I'll start by just kind of giving us a nice little scene here. Physics, we can definitely do physics as well. Physics, oh wow, we got quite a few votes for physics. All right, all right. I guess we can do, we can do a little bit of both. Material shader of physics. What? Explain further on that point. Anton R90. Is it Anton R90? Did I say it right? Or did I not say that right at all? He said material shader of physics. You got it. You're going to have to be way more specific than that. I mean, that sounds cool, but what in the world are you talking about, my friend? All right. All right. I mean, you know what we could do? I will change into physics. Oh, wow. We're changing to physics. All right. Okay. I guess what we could do, because I've been seeing these pop up everywhere, what we could do is one of those challenges where it shows like a ball falling on the big stack of cubes, and then they increase the weight, etc., etc. Material shader that changes during simulation. Oh, that's kind of interesting concept. I actually do have one of those that I made, and that one, let's see if I can find it. Is this one actually right here? Oh my god, is it really not going to open? Did I not just double click that? The heck? What the heck? I literally just double clicked on it and it just disappeared. I'm not crazy. I swear I'm not crazy. I just is this it? What the heck? Did I accidentally just click save as and just completely override that last file? Oh my gosh, no. That's okay. I think I have it on another computer. Anyway, is there a way to capture or reference attributes of the physics system and pass them into the shader? Kind of. I think you can do it with an exported. I forget what the file type is. You can. I've seen it done in geometry nodes and material tabs or material nodes, but I forget exactly what it was, how it worked. Either way, though, guys, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this stuff, add a cube. We're going to go ahead and give it a rigid body physics type active. We'll do 0.1 kilograms box. And then we'll give this a floor type passive mesh. Let's see what this looks like. So now this should just fall. Perfect. All right, so we have our physics set up. Now it's just a matter of kind of going crazy. S.1. All right, so this is where things are going to get wild here. Let's go ahead and bring this above our plane. Our plane, we're going to zero out. Our cube, we are going to also zero out as much as possible. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to make a big array of this cube here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to array. Now I'm going to very slightly separate them, like very, very slightly. Like, hold on, like maybe like that. Perfect. Got a bunch of them. Let's do, I don't know, 20 by like 20. Duplicate that. Go ahead and do copy that. All right, so we're going to kind of start forming our space here, right? Now we have our array. Let me just go ahead and save this. We have our array. We're also going to do the same thing on the top way. We're going to duplicate it. This time we're going to change that to that. Now we have our whole big old cube of cubes. Okay, this is the cube of cubes. Now in order to make them all have physics, we have to right click. We have to convert to mesh. And then what we want to do, this is like kind of the fun part here. We have to tab into edit mode, press A, and then we're going to want to do separate by loose parts. Might take a second, or maybe crash the entire program. There we go. And then tab out of edit mode. And then I got to find the original one. I think it was it this one? Oh, wow. They all actually inherited the physics properties. Sometimes that doesn't work. All right, now I'm going to highlight all of them again. Right click, set origin to geometry. Oops, nope, not geometry to origin, set origin to geometry. Perfect. And now I'm going to save it real quick. I'm going to go to my rigid body world. For the sub steps, I'll just do 3 for each one of these. And let's just press play. See what happens. We could bake it. It might crash Blender. Let's just see. It might, like I said, it might crash Blender. Wait a second. Blender does that me too from 4 to 4.5.2. Are we talking about what I just went over with the physics? Did I really just crash Blender? I might have. Oopsies. Let's see what happens here. I may have to force quit Blender and then reopen it. Give me one moment. Let's see. Oh my God. Blender wasn't responding anyway, so we had to kill it. Rest in peace. Let's open it back up. Let's revive it. All right, now let me see. So all of these have rigid body physics type. It's got box, yup, dynamic, good, active, good. Let's bring this down a little bit. I'm afraid to say this, but we may have to bake. I usually don't like baking things, but we'll do it. It's fine. I'm just gonna bake it 40 frames. I just want to see if it does anything. Oh, it is gonna bake for us. Okay, let's see. Oh my God, it's only on frame 2. Your simulation distance was too close. It just exploded your simulation, crashed Blender. That does sound right. I have seen that happen before. Let's see. Let's try to. Oh, I know what I'll do. I will scale them by their individual origins. Hold on. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and set this to individual origins. Let's scale them down a little bit. Let's see if that works. That might do something there. Let's see if we can bake it. Oh my God, I literally just heard, as soon as I clicked bake there, even though I have a pretty decently powerful computer, I literally heard, oh my gosh, my 3070 Ti is about to take off. Wow, this is, I'm surprised it's not baking any quicker. Maybe it's just genuinely too many cubes. I was really surprised. I'm really surprised that it's not handling this right now. This is usually like, stuff like this is usually quite simple for Blender, or at least for what I have. Genuinely surprised here. Let's try, I guess we'll try less cubes. I'm a little upset. I thought this was going to work just fine. Apologies, guys. And I am running OBS as well, but I've always done that whenever I've been on a live stream, and I've baked some pretty intense stuff. It said right before Blender quit, it said Blender has been suspended. That's funny. Sorry, bud. Not coming back to school. All right. So here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to cut down half of these or more than half. I just want to see what is going on. Like, why is this being so slow? Because it normally is never this slow. Launch time. I know. Bro. Oh, there we go. Okay. I just want to see what happens if I click bake. Okay, so it is working. Maybe it was just too much for Blender. It's usually never, ever like that. Like, I've never seen it struggle with I really didn't think that was that much for it. Let's just bake it again. I don't know. I'm a little bit embarrassed. I really thought that it was gonna be able to handle that. I would think mine would do it no problem. I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm kind of like surprised that it's not. That's interesting. What the heck? Why would that have like? I wonder. Was there like? Oh, you know what? Was there a hidden object in there? Wait a second. I wonder if there was a hidden object in there or something. No, I don't think there was. All right, let's delete the bake. Let's try this. Again, why is it? Oh, maybe I ran out of. I wonder if I have low amount of space or something on my computer. That couldn't be it. Yeah, on a CPU. Yeah, I know. And it's like I'm running it on a pretty good, darn good GPU. I mean, I paid good money for that. It better be getting the job done, you know? I would sure hope so. It is, I mean, it is baking, but like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little irritated with the performance right now. It is weird. I agree. It's very weird that that's happening. Mr. O do poo poo. Love the name, bro. Absolutely loving the name. Oh, you know what it might be? Wait a second. I wonder if the simulation distance is too close. I know we talked about this earlier. Are they colliding? No, they're colliding. Whoa. Nah, it looks like they're colliding like how they normally would. I don't know. The whole thing's a little bit wackadoodle. So I'm going to delete everything. Goodbye, everything. I think what I'll do instead, let's do like a smoke sim. Let's see if Blender can handle a smoke sim. Bro, you can't even delete this? Are you? Oh my gosh. All right. Also, guys, how long? I just want to see how long we've been live streaming for. We've been live streaming for about 53 minutes. That's pretty good. I'm kind of aiming for an hour here. Just kind of show you guys some cool physics stuff. Of course, I'm a little embarrassed because that was supposed to work just fine and it didn't. So sorry about that. All right, let's do like a quick smoke sim, shall we? I'll show you guys something cool that I've been messing around with. We'll go to Object. We'll go to, where is it? Quick Effects, Quick Smoke. Okay. I'm going to scale down my cube in the middle. This is like where the smoke is coming from. All right. I'm going to add some turbulence here. Actually, before I add turbulence, go to your smoke flow. Make sure that it is set to geometry. Go to your domain. Make sure it's set to about 100 or so. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter, but I'll explain why I'm doing 100. We're just going to start. I'm going to go ahead and click bake. I just want to make sure I see kind of like what's going on here first, and then we'll go from there. All right, so, all right, we have smoke rising up. Awesome, perfect. That's exactly what we should have. However, I don't want that to rise up. I want the heat to be 0. Density, we'll keep it at 1. And then for this, we'll do initial temperature -10. And let's go ahead and watch the difference here. It should fall. If it doesn't, that's okay. We're also gonna get it to a point where we can just like expand it in this kind of like really interesting like puff cloud type of thing. Why isn't it falling? Why isn't it falling? Oh, we got to do, my fault. We got to do -10 here, -5, whatever. All right, should fall now. My son created his username in a preschool, and I was teaching him rational palindromes. That's why it seems so childish. No, it's funny. Hey man, look, I'm not here to judge you, buddy. I'm not here to judge you. All right, so why is it still expanding up? Let's just do initial temperature 0. That should do the trick. There should be no initial velocity. I think that should work. Let's see. But once we get it to the perfect setting, I'm going to show you what we can really do with like turbulence force field. It's going to be really cool. All right, that's fine. That's perfect, actually. All right, so let's free all. Let's scale this up. I'm just going to make this into like a sphere real quick. I just went into edit mode and just kind of gave it some subdivisions here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a turbulence force field, bring it up, give it like a strength of 2 with a size of 0.1. And then I am going to make this, where is it? There's an adaptive domain option. There it is, adaptive domain. I'm going to check that. And then I am going to do like 150 for the resolution. Click bake, and I just want to kind of see what's going to come out of this. Let's see, because this should be pretty cool. And then we're going to add some lighting, and it should look pretty interesting. I did this on my MacBook, and I got actually like a really, really good result. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So here's what we'll get. We'll get an area light, bring it up. Let's go ahead and add power of, I don't know, 500. That's fine. Go to our smoke domain. We're going to give it a density of 50. All right. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go to our turbulence and adjust that because it's way too high. Should be like 1 maybe, and size should be 1. Let's go ahead and rebake this. Oh, and then also I'm going to raise it to 200 and scale this down a little bit. Okay, and we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and bake. Now what should happen is it should kind of like expand out, but like in like a swirly kind of way. Well, let's see if that's what we get. I'm just gonna bake out to a little bit. There we go. That's what I was looking for. See how it's kind of like expanding out in like sort of a swirly kind of way? Now what we can do is we'll bake the whole thing out to 100. That's fine. I could have just let it keep going anyway. But I wanted to show you guys this really cool, fun, like quick result that you can get with like smoke simulations, because a lot of people ask about them all the time. There's a lot of fun ones out there, but for me, you just add a turbulence force field and you can get some really interesting results. Now, right now, this is set to, was it set to inflow? I think it was set to geometry. Now, if you set it to inflow, it's going to look like the smoke expands even more. Look, you can see it's kind of starting to have some issues here. And that's because we're running into like some more complex parts of the simulation. So I'm going to go ahead and press escape. Whoa, yeah, okay. So this is where we get into some cool stuff here. Where is my area light? There it is. Scale it on the X. I'm also going to turn down my world. There we go. How cool is that? Now we're talking. Look at that. So now we put this out to frame 89 or whatever it stopped at. Look at that little wispy looking thing. Now that's cool. And then what you do is the higher resolution you bake it on, the cooler it's going to be. So let's go ahead and let's see what it looks like on 300. And then after that, maybe we can add like some cool lighting and stuff, like do something cool with it. I do love like any type of physics simulation. I always enjoy it. I think for the smoke, like a lot of it is like the shader kind of carrying the smoke. There is a specific smoke shader that we can create where we can kind of create these really nice sharp edges. This is one of the things that I've always tried to, I'll show you. I've always tried to want to create this while this is baking. I'll just show you this real quick. I'm sure you've seen this before, right? Ink and water, specifically this kind of like thick looking ink that goes down into the water and kind of like ruffles out, and it looks really interesting and like puffy and smoky, but it also kind of looks like this like abstract type of thing. This is something that I hope to eventually create in Blender, and whenever I do, I will surely show you guys how to do that. The hardest part is getting those nice crisp edges, because a lot of the times the smoke wants to like diffuse out, which is really not what we want it to do. Look, right now it's almost done. When it is done, we're going to kind of go through how to maybe light the scene a little bit better. Excuse me. Some cool stuff like that. All right, let's go ahead and press escape. 86 is fine. Look at that. So interesting. And again, we can go down to our density. We can do 100. And now we have this nice, like, thick smoke cloud, which is really cool. And it just looks so, I don't know, it looks so interesting. Excuse me, guys. Now, another thing, if you go to viewport display, where is it? And you go to, or no, so go to settings, volume. You want it to be cubic, okay? And multiple importance is fine. I don't know what this setting does, but I'll turn it off. I don't see the difference. Step rate. I'm not sure about that one. Okay. And then, yeah, and then the color, like you can change this to any color you want. Change it to a nice deep blue if we want to. And then you can turn on our denoiser. Now, the only thing is I do think like the denoiser kind of destroys like what it looks like, but, and then of course our lighting matters a lot too, right? Like where this light is coming from is going to drastically change like what this thing looks like. And we can change the spread of the light. So like right now, the spread of the light is 180. We can change it to like, I don't know, like 34. We kind of get this really like kind of dramatic feel. Let's bring it out a little bit more. There we go. That is pretty interesting. Exposure. Yeah, this is really cool. That might be even a little bit bright. Let's try 300. There we go. It's looking really interesting. Wow, so cool. I love this stuff. I love smoke simulations. Rendering them, I do not love that. But here's the simulation here. How cool is that? I think it's cool. So now here's what we can do. Now that we have kind of like a nice setup going here, we go to our domain, right? We free everything. We turn back on our cube. This is the original like emitter here. Scale it down a little bit. And now we can kind of place a few of these around here. I say we have one start here. We have one start over here. And then how about one up here? Maybe one more down here. And now we're going to have these like small puffs like kind of come out. Scale them down even more. Perfect. Now we're going to have something really interesting. Let's go ahead and click bake. Let Blender do its thing. And sit back and relax and wait. You can change the color of the smoke relative to its location or something. That would be cool. That would be only done through multiple colored lights. So you could add a gradient texture to the color of the smoke. Yeah, you could do that. The sim time is unbearable. Way past time to GPU upgrade. Oh, for me or for you? I don't mind waiting. I mean, is it unbearable? Yeah, I mean it's a little bit unbearable, but at the same time, like this is a free program, right? You have to remember that. But yeah, I do wish I didn't have to wait as long. That's also true. So yeah, so we can change the color of the smoke in the shader editor. That's something that's entirely possible, and I encourage you guys to try that out. I will show you how to do that in a second if it's something you're really interested in. I've also found really cool ways to just kind of like add like fake detail to the smoke, which is really really cool, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Let's go back and look at some of those image references. I just kind of like curious, get some ideas of like what we could do. So interesting, like it's just so interesting looking. Wow. I would absolutely love to be able to achieve something like that, or like just really like this look right here, right? It's just so incredibly colorful and detailed. Look at that. I would love to be able to achieve that. A lot of people think it's easy. It's really not. A lot of the times it's like messing around with your settings. But like the type of solver that Blender is using is like different from other programs. Wow, look at that. Again, just like there's something very satisfying about that that could possibly be achieved in Blender. And I think that it's something I'm going to explore in the future more. Wow. If I ever can master this like ink drop thing, I will definitely drop a tutorial on this. Right now we're about 50%. We're almost done. Well, not almost done, but we're getting there. Any questions while we wait for this to bake, guys? I would love to answer any questions that you might have about Blender or anything else. Actually, what am I thinking? This is a great time to go and check out the Core Fundamentals of Blender by CG Cookie. Who else but CG Cookie? The core fundamentals of Blender allow you to unlock the core of Blender and elevate your craft using 3D software, which is, of course, Blender, free and open source. It is free and it always will be. Now, this course has 9 core foundational parts of your journey to unlock your full potential. And of course, I am one of those creators on there. But again, we have mesh modeling with Jonathan Lampel, digital sculpting with Kent Trammell. We have Jesse Kaizen doing our lighting unit here. And then we have Iwa actually is doing 2 different units. She's doing texturing and materials and shading. Animation with Phil, yours. Excuse me, I was going to say yours truly. That's not true. That is him, Phil Osterbauer, and he's incredible as well. You learn a lot about keyframes in there as well. Rigging with Wayne Dixon, good friend of mine. He's awesome. Physics with, of course, yours truly, Kenny Phases. I teach you guys a lot about the fundamentals of physics in there. And then compositing with Sean Kennedy. So all of these people are just absolutely incredible at Blender. They were chosen for a reason. I'm not bragging, but I was also chosen for a reason because I know a lot about the physics category. So if you're looking to kind of get into the basics of physics, definitely worth checking out. And I also just want to quickly shout out one of Kent's courses here. Let's go ahead and type in sessions. Yep. Oh, not this one. Well, this one's great too, but this is the one in particular I wanted to show you guys. This is the Macro Sessions course by Kent Trammell, and is absolutely one of the coolest courses you will ever watch. In particular, this yin and yang pencils is one of the coolest things you'll ever learn about. So if you're really, really, really looking to get into Blender and like learning about micro displacement and things like that, I mean, I can't explain to you how cool. I will never forget watching this because I just learned so much, like genuinely so much that I had no idea about Blender. There's so much more that it can do that I just did not even realize. I mean, look how realistic these pencils look right here. Seriously, it's incredible. Anyway, back to Blender. It's almost done, but while it's finishing up, I'm gonna answer these questions here. Cartesian Caramel is achieving some really neat simulations through geometry nodes. It blows my mind. Makes sense that they are trying to get more simulation modifiers into preset node trees. Yes, they definitely are. And I actually follow him on Instagram, Cartesian Caramel. He is so awesome. Yeah, he's amazing. Oh, let me drop that link in the chat too. A lot of his geometry node stuff I fought along with, and he actually I think he did something for Sonic, the movie Sonic, I believe. Just go ahead and do this. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in the chat for you guys, so you can check that out. That is by all means this is one of the best courses I've ever taken and been a part of. I was lucky enough to be a part of, and also lucky enough to get access to everything because I worked with them, and it's incredible. It's incredible. So check it out. All right, so this is almost done. I'm gonna go ahead and press escape because I don't feel like waiting any longer. Let's go ahead and see what this bad boy did. Oh wow, it's very detailed. Maybe the simulation was a little bit too high there. Where's our light at? There we go. Okay, interesting. This is not at all what I thought this was going to look like. I'll be totally honest with you guys. So I'm actually going to bake this at a lower simulation. Let's click free all and do 200. I know you're probably like, stop baking. I don't want to watch everything bake in Blender. But a lot of the time, guys, so like one thing you should know about these live streams and all the tutorials that I put out, as well as CG Cookie and all the members of CG Cookie, it takes hours and hours and hours of experimentation before you ever get to a result that's even close to being what you want it to be. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's not going to work every single time on the live stream. It takes a lot of experimentation. It truly does. Like what you're watching right now, like I've done this 100 times off stream just to try to get the settings right? Like that's why a lot of the times if someone looks like an expert, it's because they've been doing a lot, or someone like me who's trying to show you guys in real time how I experiment. This is why I do what I do. So yeah, Sonic Trails. Yeah, I think that's what it was. All right, let's see what this looks like. Ooh, very cool. You can kind of see it following like the turbulence, which is super awesome. So neat. Yeah, this is awesome, guys. So all right, let's move on. Let's do something new. All right. Who's got something? Oh, someone wanted to learn about shader nodes. All right, we did a little bit of physics here and there. I think again, these Blender Node Dojo series that we're in right now for our live stream, this is supposed to be just kind of like off the cuff stuff. So I hope you don't think it was going to be like some big planned thing. This is more just like off the cuff as we go, kind of just chilling, like playing around in Blender. But some of the cooler stuff that I've seen in shader nodes involve like all of the materials that I've created, like the blueprint shader. I talked about that in a recent interview because the blueprint shader, like it all kind of revolves around like a transition. So like if you go to the shading tab, show you guys what I mean by transition. Right now we know, right, we can add a mix shader, right? And we can mix like, I'll just make this really simple. We can mix two colors like red, right, and blue. We mix them together and we get purple. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, we know this is true. However, a lot of people kind of keep it at that and they don't really mess around with this factor unless they just want to change the color. But the reality is this factor right here, there's so much we can do with it. So let me show you how powerful this is. Let's go ahead and get a color ramp. Nope, not a color ramp. Okay, plug it in here to the factor. All right, go ahead and kind of crunch it a little bit. Now, where this becomes powerful is when we add mapping. Mapping, capital mapping. It's like I'm yelling at Blender. Texture, coordinate. So we're gonna add texture coordinate and mapping. And what's cool about this is now we can decide with the color ramp where this transition is between red and blue, right? But it gets even cooler than that, right? Because we can adjust the location. So we can animate this. We can adjust the rotation. So if you wanted to get like, you know, perfect 45, you could do that. Why isn't it letting me do this? There we go. Sure, you want to do something like that, you can. And here's where it gets even cooler. Let's say you add in an empty. You go to add empty plane axis and you bring this up. You can actually control where that transition is with an empty. So if I go to my object and I click on empty and I make the object the target, now when I move this, I can actually control, you see how I'm controlling where that transition is? This is where it starts to get really, really powerful, right? How long will this be? Oh, the live stream? I'm not sure. I started an hour ago. I probably won't go for maybe like 30 more minutes, maybe not more than that. So as you can see, I can transition like this, pretty incredible. And then if I click here, I can go and instead of this blue one, I can do this. This is where the real power comes in. So now we have half of a transparent cube and half is the red, right? So now I can be like, oh, I want to reveal my object. I can be like, right? Now we're starting to get like more powerful with this stuff, right? Everybody see how that works? Everyone following along? This is where it starts to get really powerful. And then what you can do, but yes, there's more, is you can add another mix shader. You can add a brick texture, right? And then what you can do is you can just have the same factor, right? But you can also plug in a where's it? I'm sorry. No, you want to plug in the inverse factor. Oh, where is it? Invert color. You want the inverse of this, and then I think you have to. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember how I built this. I built this so long ago that I don't even think I remember how I did it. Oh, okay, I remember now. You gotta go like this. Okay. Boom. Boom. And boom, I believe. Yep, that's it. Okay, so now, see if are you guys still following along? Okay, so we have a brick texture mixed with a transparent shader, right? But what's cool about this is now, so this is kind of like sort of loosely how I made my my blueprint shader back when I made it. So what I'm doing here is I'm grabbing the mapping because I want this to be mapping to the generated, right? And then we can come back here. We can fix all this crap. Yep. And then, oh, did I just hear something? What we want to do is we can scale this up a little bit. And now we kind of have something that you can see starting to look like that blueprint shader. I think I'll align it to the UV. Yep, perfect. And then you actually want to invert. You want to invert this, so you want these to be black. Hold on. Now you want the colors to be black. The mortar you want to be white. And now you kind of have this blueprint effect. So you have like half is a blueprint, half is a shader, right? Oh, and also it works with rotation too. So this is kind of like, I'll just call this like baby blueprint, because this is like a very dumbed down version of what I created. But this is where it gets cool, because then you can do like group inputs and stuff like that. And when you go over here, you can have people change all these dynamics of your shader, like the scale and the mortar size, right? You can make it really thin. Obviously, you probably want like evenness like that, right? And then you can kind of like just decide like how to reveal your object. But this is like the basis of like what I created a while ago. But like when I was figuring this out, like it was not easy. Like I was like, how the heck? Like I have no idea how to do this. I still like to this day, like it was crazy. Oh, also this factor has to be invert. They have to be inverted. There we go. There we go. Sorry guys, I forgot to add that. But so, okay, so you want to take that. Now we have the mortar. We want to invert that selection and make the rest transparent. And that is how you use the mix shader properly. So now we have like this really cool transition. And then if you want the transition to be smoother, all you gotta do is adjust your color ramp. If you're like, oh, I want it to be kind of smooth like that, you adjust your color ramp, and now you have this, right? And this is what it looks like in rendered view. It looks really good. And then what's really cool is then you can just keep layering things on top of each other. Like right now, this is a diffuse, but you could make this like glass, right? You could have it be like this. Let me add an HDRI so you guys can see what this looks like. So half of this is glass, half of it is blueprint shader. Well, not my blueprint shader, because that is proprietary. Just kidding. But like you can kind of see, right? Half of it's glass. And what's cool is you can like adjust the roughness of this glass. You know what I mean? You could like, this could be like a really interesting shader. Also with my shader that I made a while back, mine was a little more complex than this, but this is again like I'm just showing you guys like kind of like the basics of like how you would set something like this up. And yeah, you can animate it, right? So I could start like here, I'll just show you how you would animate it real quick. You start this bad boy over here, press I to insert a keyframe. We'll go to frame 30 and we'll move it like this, press I, and now you have something that looks like this, right? It's animating. Oh, and this does work in Eevee as well, by the way. So you can kind of see how it works in Eevee. Now the glass isn't going to come through as well, but the rest of it does. Yep, you could use this to animate an object to appear and disappear. Yep, absolutely. I also built something like this in geometry nodes, but I thought this was like really cool and worth sharing. So like here it is, right? And at the end of the day, guys, like there's so much you can do with this. Like there really genuinely is so much you can do with this. And if for some reason this ever doesn't work in Eevee, you have to go to where is it? Somewhere in here there is a alpha hashed. I don't know where the setting is. But anyway, I would normally only use this in cycles anyway, because I just think it looks really, really good. You can do this with geometry nodes too. Is anyone interested in seeing how that approach would look? Because I could show you in geometry nodes too, but this was just kind of like a little snippet of like how you would. This is a pretty simple setup. Like it really, really is. If you look at the nodes, like it's not too complex. But oh, and then yeah, let me zoom in for you guys. There you go. For those of you watching like later that want to come get these nodes, let me just go ahead and do this. Collapse this stuff for you. There we go. Okay. Is that better for you guys so you can see? There you go. Pretty simple. The most complex part of this is probably just like figuring out the inversion of like the map or the FAC on the mix shader. Someone said yes. Okay, I'll show you how to do it in geometry nodes. So in geometry nodes, I'll just add a cube in here. to show you like how this would work. So we're gonna make a new geometry nodes. I'm gonna do after our GPU upgrade, I want to buy a CG Cookie course for my 12-year-old son. He is currently does basic modeling in Blender. Any course recommendations? I know I said it before, but again, CG Cookie / core. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Hold on. I'm gonna paste it one more time. I know it's up in the chat, but boom. Hold on. I'm typing it in. There you go. Okay. All right. So we have our geometry nodes set up. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do mesh to volume. First thing we're gonna do, turn it into a volume, and then we're gonna do distribute points in volume. We're gonna do grid because we want it to be a perfect grid, and then we're gonna do instance on points. We're gonna instance cubes just to make this really, really simple. We're going to add a value to this so that we can control the size. Okay, perfect. All right, so we have our cubes, right? And then what we want to do is we want to connect the lines in between. So this is where I got to remember how the heck I did this. Hold on, let me think for a second. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. I had to do it. Okay, so join geometry. I think I'm pretty sure what I did is I did points to curves. I believe I did that. Yes, that is what I did. Okay, perfect. Now, this is actually interesting, the way that it connected them. That is not what I expected at all. But it does look cool. Why the heck did it do it like that? That is so weird. I've never seen it connect it like that. But okay, regardless, this is fine. I also want to rejoin the original geometry in a minute here, but I'll show you how we're gonna fix that. Okay, so points to curves. I'll do curve to mesh. Yep, like that. And then I'll go ahead and do curve circle to give it a profile. Go ahead and reduce the radius. Oh, wait. There we go. So now we have this really cool kind of like interconnected thing, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. I am going to reconnect the cube. So I'm going to join it back in. But before it joins back in, I am going to kind of like reroute it with a mesh boolean. And I want to cut it in half so you can see half the cube and half of what's inside the cube, which you can't see it right now, but it is inside the cube, all this big mess. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to add another cube. We're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to do a difference. Watch this. This is going to be cool. Why isn't it working? Difference, float. I don't know exact. What the heck? What the heck? Hold on, let me add this too, because I don't know where this thing is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this should be right now cutting into our cube. Why isn't it? Let me check with a switch. There it is. Okay, so now it's cutting into our cube, so now I can adjust the size. There we go. Oh, you know what? I need to transform geometry. Duh. So I need to transform geometry. I'll bring this up. The heck? Oh, wait. Why? Oh, because I need to plug it in here as well. There we go. Okay, so now what I can do, this is where it gets really interesting. So now what I can do is, you guys see how I'm cutting into the mesh, right? So I'm kind of like revealing what's inside the mesh. And this is like really, really powerful. So if you ever want to do something like this where you have like an inner workings of an object and then you want to cut into it, you can easily do this with geometry nodes, which is pretty sick. Yep, CG Cookie absolutely has some amazing resources. I really just cannot, I can't suggest them enough, just because really for me it's more about the quality than the quantity itself. Like, you can find plenty of tutorials elsewhere, but it's the quality of the instruction that you can't really beat, in my opinion. So yeah, so this is how you would do that. What's really cool too is we can also rotate this. So if we're like, oh, you know what, like, hold on. We're like, oh, we want to like rotate this like halfway and like kind of do like a reveal. Like you can do that. How cool is that? You can be like, zoop. Isn't that neat? I don't know why why this is being so weird with whatever it did, but how freaking cool is that, guys? I don't know. I think it's amazing. How awesome. Anybody else think that's really cool? I think it's cool. I think it's cool. All right. How much time have we gone for? We've gone for about an hour and 23. Would you guys want to see anything else? I feel like we can do a little bit more. What is everyone's thoughts today? I feel like we go a little bit longer. You know what I could show you? I could show you some basic displacement in geometry nodes. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's add in a sphere, a UV sphere specifically. Geometry nodes, new, set position. And then all we got to do is add a noise texture. We'll go ahead and plug the FAC into the offset. And right there, we already have some noise. Now here's what's cool though. We want to add another set position and we want to scale this. Vector scale, there we go. All right, we want to vector scale this. And we want to scale it in the negative way, -1. And here's why. I'll show you why. Because now we can adjust this, and it'll only adjust in both ways, right? And this is really powerful because in geometry, you wouldn't think this looks like a displacement modifier. It basically is. This is basically what the displacement modifier is kind of doing. And then if you want to, this is where it gets even more powerful. You can actually do combine XYZ. Let's say you only wanted this to happen to the Z. You can do that, right? You can be like, oh, I only want this to happen to the Z. And you can create like kind of like this like landscape type of thing. Pretty cool. And then of course you can shade it smooth. No, not is edge smooth. Boom. Boom. Now you have this kind of interesting thing. And then, yeah, you're probably wondering, well, Kenny, that's really cool, but what if I wanted to do it to another object? Well, you can. You can go here and you can plug in a grid. Boop. And then you can give it as many vertices as you want. Right? The more that it has, the better. And then you can basically create a big old landscape. Boom. Again, the more vertices it has, the better. And then we're only targeting the Z, right? It's going to look weird if we target anything else right now because this is a flat plane. But now we can mess around with this noise texture. Now, if you really wanted to, you can make it 4-dimensional. And you can play with the W value and make it look like waves. What? That's so crazy. How in the world do you do that? Isn't that cool? It's so cool that we can do this with geometry nodes. Also, if you're wondering how I'm changing it not so fast, if you hold shift, you can change the value much, much, much slower, which is super, super powerful. Very cool. Wow. They're just incredibly, incredibly powerful. Especially because like we're only at 100 vertices. Imagine if we did 200 and then just like scale this thing up a bunch. Look at that. You have like a landscape generator here. So cool. And then what you could do is you could have like certain like, you know, elements spawn on top of this. So you could have like, I don't know, you could do like mesh to points. And then you could rejoin real quick, join geometry. And then rejoin this right here. And then what you do is you just delete geometry, right? And you delete those points, but you only delete some of them with a Boolean, math Boolean. Freaking no, that's not what I wanted. Math Boolean, there we go. No, actually, that's not math Boolean. Is it Boolean math? No, oh, you know what it is? It's random value Boolean. I'm sorry, I thought it was math Boolean. It's not. So now what you can do is you can just decide how many you want to delete based on like the probability of them showing up. And that is how you get like randomness. So then now you have this randomness, right? And you can be like, oh, you know what? I really want an instance on these points. So you can do that. You can be like instance on points. And then you could have like the start, you know, you could have a like a mesh line, just for example, and you could plug that in as your instance. And now you have trees, right? And then you just do like, I don't know, 0.1. And now you have all these trees, maybe 0.01. So there's now trees that are here, right? And then instead of a mesh line, you could do like an actual tree. I'll just like model a quick tree real quick. I'll just do like literally something so simple. I'm just gonna add like a plane, bring it up here, right? Scale it like that. Maybe like just, I don't know, extrude this part here. Maybe like scale it in, I don't know, and then I don't know, just have like, this is gonna be the dumbest tree you've ever seen. Hold on. But it's gonna look kind of like a tree when it's done. All right, that's our tree. It's the worst tree I've ever made. But anyway, you come back here, right? And then instead of that, you just add this in here. You go here. Boom. Oh, and then you're gonna need to scale those instances down. Scale those instances down by a value of what? 0.01. Let's do 0.03. Be a little generous. And now look, you have trees all over your landscape. Woohoo! How cool is that? Yeah, geometry node is super powerful, and this is like only barely scraping the surface. Like imagine if you got like, I mean, this is, I just spent 5 minutes on that. You guys could spend as much time as you want and get an even greater result. This is just like kind of an example. I don't know, maybe I'll make a little terrain generator. Who knows what I'll do next? Oh my gosh, the sky is the limit. Imagine if we plugged in our original geometry though. Whoa, look at that. Now we have our little geometry with our trees all over it. It's like a little, it's one of those like islands from like Avatar. You guys know what I'm talking about? This looks so cool. Look at all the little trees. I actually kind of like am fond of this tree shape. Like this is like if I saw a tree shape like this, I'd be like, all right, it's like, it's kind of a cool tree. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So cool. So cool. And we can come back here and adjust all this stuff. Ooh. So fun. I don't know. I can't get enough of this stuff. I think it's so awesome. And yes, you can make it look like a rock. That is absolutely true. So much fun. All right. Maybe we'll do one more quick project and then I'll probably wrap it up for the night. Does that sound good to you guys? You guys have any more suggestions for what you want to see? I got about, I think about a half hour left before I'm going to head to bed here. All right, let's do a brand new project. Brand new project. Let me just double check the comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, Roblox Studio. Yep, that is a classic. That is a classic. You can't go wrong, really. I don't know, Blender, there's just like something about Blender, like when I hop into Blender, I know that like, I just know there's so much that I can create and there's really like no limits to what I can do. You want to do another geometry nodes one? Yeah, we can do another geometry nodes one. Absolutely. All right, let me think. Let's think. What would I want to make? If I was making a geometry nodes project, what would I make? Well, we could make a random lighting generator. Let's try that. Because actually, this was something I was going to, so fun fact, I was actually going to live stream a random lighting generator, but I kept messing up like how I was doing it. So maybe I'll have a better approach now. I've done this like 3 or 4 times. I got it to work once and it looked pretty good. So let's just, let's see what we can come up with here. Let's add in a sphere. That's just be like our base mesh, okay? A robe generator? Robe or robot? Robot generator could be interesting. Let's go with this lighting one for now, and we'll come back to that, I promise, okay? All right, so we have our geometry nodes set up here, right? Now, here's one limitation to geometry nodes. We cannot access lights the way that you think we can. I've tried it. You just can't. There's no workaround. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to create a material with another, just like a smaller sphere. So I'm going to go to my render view. I'm going to add a new material. I'm just going to give this an emissive material with like strength of like 10. And so we can differentiate it. I'm going to create 2. One that's blue, and one that's red, just so we can like see the difference between these. Now, here's the basic concept. We have our sphere. I want to be able to create a way to push these around our sphere in any rotation that we want, basically to create randomized lighting. And I have done this successfully, and I'm going to show you how to do it successfully. It's pretty interesting when it actually works out because it just looks really, really good. I'm also going to give this some metallic shading, shaded smooth, just so we can kind of get a better idea of what's going on here. Also, for clarity purposes, I'm going to name this blue, name this red, save this as random lighting generator, RLG, save, boom, good. Okay, so in our geometry node setup, the very first thing we want to do is we want to create a way to actually have something around our sphere that can rotate around. So what I'll do is I will add in a circle, a mesh circle, okay? I'm also going to join it in, okay? And I'm going to extend the radius, okay? I did not realize, why are these all, oh, because I duplicated it. Let me get rid of these. Sorry, they all have the same geometry node setup. So now I have my mesh circle, right? I'm going to hide these so we can't see these. Now, with my mesh circle, it's made of points. I'm going to do mesh to points, right? Now, one of these points should contain a light. I'll show you what I mean. This is going to be actually pretty cool when this ends up. I am actually going to Texas Beacon. I already got my tickets. So I will be there. So if you're there, we'll actually be able to meet, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I got a mesh circle. I got mesh to points. And then I want to basically do instance on points, right? And then just to show you how this works, I'll do a cube. Okay. All right. So there's my cube. I'll just give it a value of whatever. All right. So there's our cubes, right? Now we know that we can also rotate this, but I only want one of these cubes on here. I don't want there to be a cube on every single point. So how do we do that? Well, we have this handy dandy little selection thing here. We're actually going to use this to determine where our points lie. And this is really cool. I loved figuring this out. We want to target the index. The index is like, which point are we targeting? I want the index to be equal to something. Oops, we'll pop this result into the selection. And now we just have 1 point. You're probably thinking, well, what's the point of that? Why not just generate 1 point? The point of that is we have a circle that we can rotate around. So now what we can do is we can go to transform geometry right here. We can rotate this, right? So now, see how we can rotate this around our sphere? Now we have something very, very powerful. I'm sorry, this rotation is not supposed to be right there. It's supposed to be right here. Sorry about that. So now we can, why isn't this working? There we go. Now we can rotate it this way, rotate it this way. And for some reason, X doesn't do anything. I don't know why. It should, but it doesn't. So now we can rotate this all the way around. But here's what's really cool. Now we have this cube. We can go ahead and say, oh, I want to assign a material to this. What material do I want? We'll make this the blue one. And now when we rotate this, you can see that we can push this anywhere we want. We can decide exactly where we want this, or we can set this up with a random generator to give us a random location every single time for this, right? Now you can see right now, I can also do that with the equals, right? As I go around. Now at about, how many vertices did I say? 32. At about 32, it disappears. So I want my random number generator, right? I want it to be between 1 and 32, but I want it to be an integer. So I'm going to do 1, and I'll just do 31 to keep it simple. And now if we adjust the seed, you'll see, oopsies, what the heck? Should be an integer. The heck? That's weird. Why isn't that working? Should just randomly appear now. Yep. Ooh, why were there 3 there? That's weird. Earth and Moon Simulator. Yeah, like so that's the thing, is it's basically like an orbit, but it's like an orbit. But this is where I was running into issues earlier because for some reason I couldn't plug in a random rotation into this, which was really, really weird to me. Even when you, yeah, I kept getting this weird error. Node input does not support fields. I've never gotten that before. I've been able to do this plenty of times. Never had any issues with like some weird rotation there. So I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway, this is the basic concept. And then what you do is you can control where it is. That's a matter of like, that's what I'm working on right now. So like, that's where I'm working on. Okay, like, how do we control this, right? So one thing you could do combine XYZ. But then again, when you get here, there it is. All right, let's try this. Again, I get this weird thing, and I'm not sure if it's because it's not a vector. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just get this really weird thing going on here. But regardless, what you do is you get one red, you get one blue, and then you kind of rotate them around, and then boom, 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 you get different lighting scenarios as you go. So let me try to work through this. Hopefully I can. I don't know what the deal is, like with why it's really not like doesn't want to work for me. So maybe we can figure it out. Let's see. Instance on points. Yup. We have mesh to points, transform geometry, mesh circle. I'm not sure, guys. I really don't know. I'm trying to think of like why it wouldn't be working. Because usually you can plug something into the rotation of your circle. And I'm surprised it doesn't want to let me do that. So weird. Either way, this could be super powerful, especially considering like, boom, you rotate it here, right? You have another one on the other side that you rotate. Vector to rotation conversion. Yeah, I might be able to. I can try that. Vector rotate? Hold on. Axis to, oh, Euler to rotation? Oh, maybe I can. Oh, wait, hold on. If this works, you're a genius. Oh, what the heck? Vector. What the heck? That's so weird, though. Align rotation to vector node. I'll try it. And then vector. It's weird. Like I said, I've never, ever had this issue where I was just trying to rotate something and I just couldn't rotate it. And the funny thing about this is, hold on, now I got to look back. On my MacBook, which I have right next to me, I literally have the random lighting generator set up. And now I'm like, okay, let me look at this because I don't even know how I did it before. I did position, align, Euler to vector. Hold on. A random value with combine XYZ plugged right into the rotation of the instances. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, wait. Why did I do it like that? That is so weird. I don't even need that node. The setup that I have over here works fine. I don't know. So this has kind of been like a lot for my brain today. Sometimes you do too much Blender and it's like, oh my god. We have been streaming for almost 2 hours, guys. So I hate to say it, I do eventually have to go to bed because I do have to work tomorrow. What I do want to say is I promise you I will look more into the details of how we can do this lighting generator, and maybe that'll be the next live stream. We can kind of sort all that out. Until that though, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining tonight. I know it's a Sunday night. I know you guys are probably tired too, but like thanks for sticking around, checking out all the cool projects we've been working on, and please check out CG Cookie Core Fundamentals of Physics, but also check out just the whole core bundle in general. It's just super awesome. And yeah, if you get a chance, also check out Sessions because Kent Trammell is just a fantastic instructor. So if you guys have any questions, you can drop them down in the comments below. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of our Node Dojo. I really enjoy these episodes, and I really enjoy live streaming with you guys and answering your questions. So hopefully next time we can do this again. I'm going to try to at least do this maybe once or if not twice a week, kind of just be a little more consistent with it. So you can always drop comments and let us know what you think you want the next suggestion to be for our live stream too. If there's something you really want to go over, if there's a modeling challenge you have for me or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to take that on and